my name's Jane, and as Director for Seat, I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you in the 2022 Euroquiz Heats. In order to ensure that Euroquiz remains accessible across your local authority, we're running the event online again this year. So I'd like to thank your local coordinator, your school and teachers for embracing this way of doing things and for allowing Euroquiz to go ahead again in 2022. I'd also like to add a very special mention to all pupils tuning in remotely today and for all your preparations at home and in school. We're delighted that you've shown such a great attitude and an interest in working as a team to learn all about the different countries and cultures and languages across Europe and beyond. So from us here at SEAT to those of you watching and taking part all over Scotland, we really hope that you enjoy today's event and we congratulate you for representing your schools in the 2022 Euroquiz Heats. I'll now hand over to Alex, who'll tell you a little bit more about the format of the event today. Bonjour, Alex.
Gracias, Jane. Y hola a todos. Hi, everyone. My name's Alex, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about how everything is going to work today. The 2022 Euroquiz Heat has 4 rounds in total. You will have 1 answer sheet per round, and all questions will be answered in your teams of 4. Remember to write your school name at the top of each individual answer paper. Please try to spell as well as you can, however spelling will not count against you as long as your meaning is clear. We'll start with round 1, which has 15 questions on geography and history. We'll then move on to round 2, the language round, where you'll get the chance to show off your linguistic talents. Again, there are 15 questions for you to answer. The first 10 of these questions are spoken language questions that will test your listening skills in German, Italian, Spanish and French. These will be followed by 5 reading questions. These questions have been developed in partnership with Education Scotland and SILT, Scotland's National Centre for Languages, and have all been recorded by native speakers. This will be followed by round 3, Understanding Europe, which focuses on culture and European affairs. This round also has 15 questions. Round 4, General Knowledge, is the final round, and again you will be asked 15 questions to answer in your teams. After each round, we'll take you through the correct answers while your papers are being marked by your teacher. You must not make any changes to your answer paper at this stage. The scores will then be given to your local authority contact, who will announce the results. The team in the lead will be invited to represent their local authority at the 2022 Euroquiz final. Well done for working so hard to get here and for representing your school in Euroquiz 2022. We hope you enjoy yourselves today and very best of luck to all of you. We'll now hand over to our quizmaster Mark, who's going to take us through the questions today. Hola, Mark.
Hola Alex, hola a todos, bonjour à tous, buenos días a todos, buongiorno a tutti, hallo zusammen, hey allihoppa, and hello. My name is Mark Pendleton. I am the Director of Coffee Break Languages. I run a language learning company. We make language courses and help people all over the world learn languages. But today my job is to host the Euroquiz. I'm delighted to be back for another Euroquiz. This is the 2022 Heats, and I am really looking forward to working through all of the questions with you today. Now, for each of the rounds, the questions will appear on the screen, so you'll be able to see the question, and I'll also read it out. Sometimes there will be a picture to look at. You'll be asked each question twice, and it's your job to write down the correct answer. If it's a multiple choice question, just write A, B, or C. So we're going to get started in just a moment with round 1. Round 1 has 15 questions for you to answer in pairs, and it will cover geography and history. Now, please try to spell as well as you can, but we should say that spelling will not count against you as long as the meaning is clear. So if we're ready to begin, let's get started with round 1 on geography and history. So, question number 1. This is the flag of which country? This is the flag of which country? Okay, let's move on to question number 2. What is the capital of Estonia? What's the capital of Estonia? Time to move on to question 3. Which 3 countries border Luxembourg? Which 3 countries border Luxembourg? Question 4. 6 countries formed the European Coal and Steel Community in 1951 to help rebuild Europe after the Second World War. Name 3 of these countries. So just name 3 countries. Write down 3 countries. I'll say this again. 6 countries formed the European Coal and Steel Community in 1951 to help rebuild Europe after the Second World War. Name 3 of these countries. Question 5. Mount Elbrus, the highest peak in Europe, is part of which mountain range? Is it A, the Alps, B, the Pyrenees, or C, the Caucasus Mountains? I'll say this again. Mount Elbrus, the highest peak in Europe, is part of which mountain range? A, the Alps, B, the Pyrenees, or C, the Caucasus Mountains? Again, just write A, B, or C. Okay, let's move on to question 6. Which country is highlighted here? So look carefully at the map and write down the answer to this question. Is it A, Romania, B, Slovakia, or C, Slovenia? So which country is highlighted here in red? A, Romania, B, Slovakia, C, Slovenia. Moving on, question 7. On which island was the political leader Napoleon Bonaparte born? On which island was the political leader Napoleon Bonaparte born? Question 8. Which is the largest EU country by population? Is it A, France, B, Germany, or C, Spain? Which is the largest EU country by population? A, France, B, Germany, or C, Spain? Write down A, B, or C. Question 9. In which city is the Atomium located? So you'll see a photo of the Atomium here. In which city is the Atomium located? Let's move on to question 10. Who was the English inventor responsible for the blast furnace that could manufacture large amounts of steel during the Industrial Revolution? Who was the English inventor responsible for the blast furnace that could manufacture large amounts of steel during the Industrial Revolution? Let's move on to question 11. The period of enlightenment led to great changes, such as the French Revolution of 1789. What did the people of France decide? A. They no longer wanted to be ruled by kings and queens. B. Women would gain the right to vote. Or C. They decided to elect Charles de Gaulle as president. So the period of enlightenment led to great changes, such as the French Revolution of 1789. What did the people of France decide? A. They no longer wanted to be ruled by kings and queens. B. Women would gain the right to vote. Or C. To elect Charles de Gaulle as president. Let's move on to question 12. Which British ship sank in 1912 on its route between Southampton and New York City? Which British ship sank in 1912 on its route between Southampton and New York City? Question 13. Which ancient Greek scientist proved that the Earth is spherical and worked out its circumference? Was it A. Pythagoras, B. Socrates, or C. Eratosthenes? Which ancient Greek scientist proved that the Earth is spherical and worked out its circumference? A. Pythagoras, B. Socrates, or C. Eratosthenes? Question 14. Cyprus is at the crossroads of which three continents? Cyprus is at the crossroads of which three continents? And the final question in this round. When was the European slave trade abolished? Was it A. in the 1700s, B. the 1800s, or C. the 1900s? When was the European slave trade abolished? A. 1700s, B. 1800s, or C. 1900s? Well done. Now what we need you to do is hand your answer sheet to your teacher and we'll take you through the answers for this round. Remember that you're under strict Euroquiz conditions and that you can no longer make any changes to your answer paper at this point. Let's take a look at our answers for round one. So first of all, we asked you, this is the flag of which country? It's the flag of Portugal. Question number 2. What is the capital of Estonia? The capital of Estonia is Tallinn. Number 3. Which three countries border Luxembourg? The three countries are Germany, France, and Belgium. Question 4. 6 countries formed the European Coal and Steel Community in 1951 to help rebuild Europe after the Second World War, and we asked you to name 3 of these countries. So you could have any 3 of Germany, France, Italy, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg. Question 5. Mount Elbrus, the highest peak in Europe, is part of which mountain range? Mount Elbrus is part of the Caucasus Mountains. Question 6. Which country is highlighted here? Is it Romania, Slovakia, or Slovenia? Well, the correct answer is Slovakia. Question 7. On which island was the political leader Napoleon Bonaparte born? Napoleon was born in Corsica. Question 8. Which is the largest EU country by population? The correct answer here is B, Germany. Question 9. In which city is the atomium located? It is in Brussels, in Belgium. Question 10. Who was the English inventor responsible for the blast furnace that could manufacture large amounts of steel during the Industrial Revolution? It was Henry Bessemer. Question 11. The period of Enlightenment led to great changes, such as the French Revolution of 1789. What did the people of France decide? They decided they no longer wanted to be ruled by kings and queens. And question 12. Which British ship sank on its route between Southampton and New York City? It was the Titanic. Question 13. Which ancient Greek scientist proved that the Earth is spherical and worked out its circumference? It was Eratosthenes. Question 14. Cyprus is at the crossroads of which three continents? Cyprus is at the crossroads of Europe, Asia, and Africa. Question 15. When was the European slave trade abolished? It was abolished in the 1800s B. Excellent. Okay, so that is the end of round 1. It's time to move on to round 2. Okay, it's time for round 2, and that is our language round. I have to admit, I think this is my favourite round of the Euroquiz. I love languages, and I'm really lucky because I get the chance to work in languages every single day. And you're going to be meeting some of my colleagues in just a moment. Now, for this round, we are focusing on languages, and the first 10 questions are spoken languages questions in German, Italian, Spanish, and French, and then they'll be followed by 5 reading questions. So some instructions about this round. For the listening questions 1 to 10, you're going to be asked different questions in English. And then you're going to hear the answers spoken in German, Italian, Spanish, and French. You'll hear each sentence or each answer twice. After the second time, you'll be given a little bit of time to discuss the answer with your team and then write down the answer to the question in English. It's really important that you write the answer in English on your answer sheet. Now, you can take notes at any time, but because this is a listening round, it's really important that you remain completely silent while you're listening to the voices. Okay, are we ready to get started? I think we are. I think it's therefore time to say hello to some people. First of all, I think we should have Thomas. Guten Morgen, Thomas. Wie geht's dir?
Hallo Marc, guten Morgen. Mir geht es sehr gut, danke. Und dir?
Ja, mir geht's auch sehr gut, danke. So
Super.
Thomas is a German speaker, as you can hear, and I think we've also got an Italian speaker on the call. Let's see if Maurizio's here. Buongiorno Maurizio.
Buongiorno Mark, come va?
Tutto bene qui, come stai?
Tutto bene anche qui, grazie, sto molto bene.
Perfetto. Okay, so Maurizio is our Italian speaker. Now we should also have Annabel joining us. Buenos días, Annabel.
Buenos días, Marc. ¿Qué tal?
Todo bien. ¿Y tú, qué tal?
Yo bastante bien, gracias.
Pues me alegro, me alegro. Okay, so Annabel is our Spanish speaker. And last but not least, we should have Max joining us. Bonjour, Max.
Salut Marc, ça va?
Très bien. Et toi?
Ça va très bien, merci.
Excellent. So as you can tell, Max is our French speaker. Okay, we've got the entire team assembled. Let us begin with our first question in this round. Again, you'll hear the answer twice. First of all in German, then in Italian, then in Spanish, then in French. Let's get started with question 1. So, the question is, where are they calling from? Is it A, the Netherlands, B, Bulgaria, or C, Belgium? Let's have a listen to the answer, first of all in German.
Hallo, ich freue mich, dich kennenzulernen. Ich wohne in Belgien. Hallo, ich freue mich, dich kennenzulernen. Ich wohne in Belgien.
Okay, let's listen to the same answer, this time in Italian.
Ciao, piacere di conoscerti. Abito in Belgio. Ciao, piacere di conoscerti. Abito in Belgio.
Okay, Thank you. Let's hear the same answer in Spanish.
Hola, encantada. Vivo en Bélgica. Hola, encantada. Vivo en Bélgica.
And finally in French.
Salut, ravi de te rencontrer. J'habite en Belgique. Salut, ravi de te rencontrer. J'habite en Belgique.
Okay. Take some time to decide your answer for this round, for this question. Let's move on to question number 2. So here you're going to write down 2 pieces of information about the speaker. And these pieces of information will fill this sentence. So I am something years old and I live in either Bilbao, Brussels or Bordeaux. Okay, so let us listen to Thomas first of all with the German answer.
Ich bin 13 Jahre alt und ich wohne in Brüssel. Ich bin 13 Jahre alt und ich wohne in Brüssel.
Let's hear Maurizio.
Ho 13 anni e abito a Bruxelles. Ho 13 anni e abito a Bruxelles.
Let's move on to Spanish.
Tengo 13 años y vivo en Bruselas. Tengo 13 años y vivo en Bruselas.
And finally we'll hear the French answer.
J'ai 13 ans et j'habite à Bruxelles. J'ai 13 ans et j'habite à Bruxelles.
Okay, take some time to write down your answers. Let's move on to question 3. In this question, the speaker lives in the town or the city centre. Is that true or false? Let's listen to the German answer.
Ich wohne in einer Wohnung in der Stadtmitte. Ich wohne in einer Wohnung in der Stadtmitte.
And Maurizio with Italian.
Abito in un appartamento in centro. Abito in un appartamento in centro.
Okay, let's hear Spanish.
Vivo en un piso en el centro de la ciudad. Vivo en un piso en el centro de la ciudad.
And French from Max.
J'habite dans un appartement au centre-ville. J'habite dans un appartement au centre-ville.
Okay, so the speaker lives in the town centre or the city centre. Is that true or false? Let's move on to question 4. Question 4. Do they have any siblings? If so, how many brothers and sisters? So let's hear our German answer.
Ich wohne mit meiner Mutter, meinem Stiefvater und meinem kleinen Bruder. Ich wohne mit meiner Mutter, meinem Stiefvater und meinem kleinen Bruder.
Let's hear the Italian.
Abito con mia madre, il mio patrigno e il mio fratellino. Abito con mia madre, il mio patrigno e il mio fratellino.
And Spanish.
Vivo con mi madre, mi padrastro y mi hermano menor. Vivo con mi madre, mi padrastro y mi hermano menor.
And the French answer.
J'habite avec ma mère, mon beau-père et mon petit frère. J'habite avec ma mère, mon beau-père et mon petit frère.
Okay, so do they have any siblings? If so, how many brothers and sisters? Let's move on to question number 5. This is a question about language in the language round. What language do they speak at home? German from Thomas, first of all.
Meine Großmutter ist Norwegerin. Also sprechen wir zu Hause Norwegisch. Meine Großmutter ist Norwegerin, also sprechen wir zu Hause Norwegisch.
Okay, Italian from Maurizio.
Mia nonna è norvegese, quindi parliamo norvegese a casa. Mia nonna è norvegese, quindi parliamo norvegese a casa.
And Spanish from Annabelle.
Mi abuela es noruega, así que hablamos noruego en casa. Mi abuela es noruega, así que hablamos noruego en casa.
And French from Max, please.
Ma grand-mère est norvégienne, donc on parle norvégien à la maison. Ma grand-mère est norvégienne, donc on parle norvégien à la maison.
So, what language do they speak at home? Let's move on now to question 6. The speaker then talks about sustainability. What items do they recycle at home? Let's hear our German answer.
Ich recycle immer meine Zeitschriften. Wir fahren einmal pro Woche zum Recyclinghof. Ich recycle immer meine Zeitschriften. Wir fahren einmal pro Woche zum Recyclinghof.
And Italian?
Riciclo sempre le mie riviste. Andiamo al centro di riciclaggio una volta alla settimana. Riciclo sempre le mie riviste. Andiamo al centro di riciclaggio una volta alla settimana.
Spanish, please.
Siempre reciclo mis revistas. Vamos al centro de reciclaje una vez por semana. Siempre reciclo mis revistas. Vamos al centro de reciclaje una vez por semana.
And finally, French.
Je recycle toujours mes magazines. On va au centre de recyclage une fois par semaine. Je recycle toujours mes magazines. On va au centre de recyclage une fois par semaine.
Okay, so we want to know what items do they recycle at home. Okay, let's continue on with question 7. And in this question, you're filling in the gaps. What do they wear to school? I wear a something shirt, blue something, and trainers. Okay, auf Deutsch, bitte.
Ich trage ein weißes Hemd, eine blaue Hose und Turnschuhe. Ich trage ein weißes Hemd, eine blaue Hose und Turnschuhe.
In italiano adesso.
Indosso una camicia bianca, pantaloni blu e scarpe da ginnastica. Indosso una camicia bianca, pantaloni blu e scarpe da ginnastica.
Y en español.
Llevo una camisa blanca, unos pantalones azules y unos zapatos deportivos. Llevo una camisa blanca, unos pantalones azules y unos zapatos deportivos.
Et en français.
Je porte une chemise blanche, un pantalon bleu et des baskets. Je porte une chemise blanche, un pantalon bleu et des baskets.
Okay, so you're filling in the gaps there. I wear a something shirt, blue something, and trainers. Okay, time for question 8. What will they do after school and with which family member? So, Thomas, first, please.
Heute ist es sonnig, also werde ich mit meinem Cousin Sport treiben. Heute ist es sonnig, also werde ich mit meinem Cousin Sport treiben.
And Italian.
Oggi c'è il sole, quindi farò sport con mio cugino. Oggi c'è il sole, quindi farò sport con mio cugino.
Spanish.
Hace sol hoy, así que voy a hacer deporte con mi primo. Hace sol hoy, así que voy a hacer deporte con mi primo.
And French.
Il y a du soleil aujourd'hui. Donc, je vais faire du sport avec mon cousin. Il y a du soleil aujourd'hui. Donc, je vais faire du sport avec mon cousin.
So, what will they do after school, and with which family member will they do it? Okay, question 9. What is their favourite thing to do at the weekend? Thomas, please.
Ich liebe es, ins Kino zu gehen, aber ich gehe nicht gern in die Bibliothek. Ich liebe es, ins Kino zu gehen, aber ich gehe nicht gern in die Bibliothek.
And Italian?
Adoro andare al cinema, ma non mi piace andare in biblioteca. Adoro andare al cinema, ma non mi piace andare in biblioteca.
Spanish?
Me encanta ir al cine, pero no me gusta ir a la biblioteca. Me encanta ir al cine, pero no me gusta ir a la biblioteca.
And French?
J'aime aller au cinéma, mais je n'aime pas aller à la bibliothèque. J'aime aller au cinéma, mais je n'aime pas aller à la bibliothèque.
Okay, so what is their favourite thing to do at the weekend? Question 9. Let's move on to the final listening question. That's question 10. You then discuss favourite foods. What do they enjoy eating? Okay, let's have Thomas with German.
Mein Lieblingsgericht ist frittierter Fisch mit Pommes. Mein Lieblingsgericht ist frittierter Fisch mit Pommes.
And Maurizio, please, with Italian.
Il mio piatto preferito è pesce e patatine. Il mio piatto preferito è pesce e patatine.
And Annabelle with Spanish.
Mi plato preferido es el pescado y las patatas fritas. Mi plato preferido es el pescado y las patatas fritas.
And French, please.
Mon plat préféré est le poisson avec des frites. Mon plat préféré est le poisson avec des frites.
Merci, Max. Okay, so what do they enjoy eating? Question 10. Right, that's the end of the listening round. We're going to move on to the reading round, but just before we do, thank you to everyone, and we'll see you again later. Okay, it's time now for our reading section of the language round. In this section, you're going to read a short text to find out what the pupil does daily to live more sustainably. What I'd like you to do is read the translations on your sheet in the languages that you're learning in school, and then answer questions 11 to 15. And you'll have a few minutes to complete this section in your team. So let's move on to our reading round now. Okay, it's time now to hand your answer sheet to the teachers, and then we'll go through the answers for this round all together. So let's take a look at our answers. For question 1, where are they calling from? The correct answer is from Belgium. Okay, question number 2. We had to write down two pieces of information about the speaker, and the two things that you needed to write down were I am 13 years old and I live in Brussels. Okay, moving on to question 3. The question was, the speaker lives in the town or city centre, and was this true or false? It was true. Question 4. Do they have any siblings? If so, how many brothers and sisters? The answer to this question was they had one brother. So I wonder if you picked up any of the other words in that particular question. They said, ich wohne mit meiner Mutter, meinem Stiefvater und meinem kleinen Bruder. So I live with my mother, my stepfather, and my little brother. Or in Italian, abito con mia madre, il mio patrigno e mio fratellino. In Spanish, vivo con mi madre, mi padrastro, y mi hermano menor. And in French, j'habite avec ma mère, mon beau-père et mon petit frère. Okay, moving on to our question about language. In the language round, what language do they speak at home? Okay, your clue here was Norwegisch in German, Norvegese in Italian, Noruego in Spanish, and Norvégien in French. They speak Norwegian at home. They actually said that my grandmother is Norwegian. Okay, moving on, question 6. They then spoke about sustainability. They recycle magazines at home. Okay, we then asked what do they wear to school. You had to fill in the gaps. I wear a white shirt, blue trousers and trainers. So we were looking for white and trousers there. Question 8, what will they do after school and with which family member? So after school they are going to play sport with my cousin. So we were looking for the word cousin there. Question 9. What is their favourite thing to do at the weekend? They love going to the cinema. They also mentioned something else that they didn't like doing. Ich gehe nicht gern in die Bibliothèque. Non mi piace andare in biblioteca. Non me gusta ir a la biblioteca. Je n'aime pas aller à la bibliothèque. That's really interesting because this word bibliothèque or biblioteca is very similar in all these languages, and it's the word for the library. I don't like going to the library, but it just shows you how languages are related. They all sound similar in this case. It doesn't always work, but here it does. So number 10, you then discuss favourite foods. What do they enjoy eating? Well, their favourite food is fish and chips. Yummy. Okay, let us now move on and look at our reading round. So there were 5 more questions in the reading round. They wake up at 7:45. Is that true or false? That is, in fact, false. So question 12, how do they go to school? They walk. They walk to school. They go on foot to school. That's the answer we're looking for there. Question 13, name 2 things they recycle at school. So you could have any 2 of paper, plastic, cans or metal, clothes or toys. Lots of possibilities there. Question 14, their favourite subject at school is geography. And question 15, what fruit do they like to eat with their lunch? They like to eat an apple with their lunch. I hope you've enjoyed our language round. Now it's time to move on to round 3, and this round is all about understanding Europe. It has 15 questions for you to answer in pairs, and will cover European culture, European affairs. And of course, as with all the previous rounds, the questions will be asked twice. Please listen carefully, and they'll also appear on the screen. Are we ready to begin? Let's get on then with round 3. Okay, question 1 of round 3. Mario Draghi is the Prime Minister of which country? Mario Draghi is the Prime Minister of which country? Question 2. From which country does the traditional Jota dance originate? Is it A, Poland, B, Spain, or C, Belgium? From which country does the traditional Jota dance originate? A, Poland, B, Spain, or C, Belgium? Okay, question 3. From which country does the dish plokfiskur, fish stew, originate? From which country does the dish plokfiskur, fish stew, originate? Question 4. Which country withdrew its membership from the European Union in 2020? Which country withdrew its membership from the European Union in 2020? Question 5. From which language does the word Europe derive? From which language does the word Europe derive? Question 6. Which of the following countries does not have a monarchy? A, Norway, B, Belgium, or C, Finland? Which of the following countries does not have a monarchy? A, Norway, B, Belgium, C, Finland? Let's move on to question 7. During which decade did Europeans invent the World Wide Web? Was it A, the 1980s, B, the 1990s, or C, the 2000s? During which decade did Europeans invent the World Wide Web? A, the 1980s, B, the 1990s, or C, the 2000s? Question 8. Which climate conference was held in Glasgow in 2021? Which climate conference was held in Glasgow in 2021? Question 9. Which country does the food banitsa come from? Is it A, Bulgaria, B, Austria, or C, Lithuania? Which country does the food banitsa come from? A, Bulgaria, B, Austria, C, Lithuania? Question 10. Which European country elected a female Prime Minister in November 2021 for the first time? Which European country elected a female Prime Minister in November 2021 for the first time? Question 11. Which artist painted The Birth of Venus, one of the great Renaissance paintings? Which artist painted The Birth of Venus, one of the great Renaissance paintings? And number 12, how many official languages are used in the European Union? How many official languages are used in the European Union? Question 13. How many stars are there on the European Union flag? And I'll give you a clue, it's more than one, okay? How many stars are there on the European Union flag? Question 14. The UN has 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Which goal does this symbol represent? The UN has 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Which goal does this symbol represent? And ready for the final question in this round. Fado is a traditional style of music from which country? Fado is a traditional style of music from which country? Okay, that is the end of round 3. I would now like to invite the teachers to collect in the question papers and we will take you through the answers. And remember, you must not make any changes now to your answer sheet as you hand them in. Okay, let's go through the answers to round 3. First of all, in question 1, we asked Mario Draghi is the Prime Minister of which country? He is the Prime Minister of Italy. Number 2, from which country does the traditional jota dance originate? It is from Spain. B. Question 3. From which country does the dish plokkfiskur originate? And many words that end in UR are Icelandic words. So this is an Icelandic dish. Plokkfiskur. Okay, question 4. Which country withdrew its membership from the European Union in 2020? That was the United Kingdom. Question 5. From which language does the word Europe derive? It derives from Greek. Question 6. Which of the following countries does not have a monarchy? There is no king or queen of Finland. Question 7. During which decade did Europeans invent the World Wide Web? It was invented in the 1980s. And question 8. Which climate conference was held in Glasgow in 2021? It was COP26. Question 9. Which country does the food banitsa come from? It comes from Bulgaria. A. Question 10. Which European country elected a female Prime Minister in November 2021 for the first time? It was Sweden. Question 11. Which artist painted The Birth of Venus? It was Botticelli that painted The Birth of Venus. 12. How many official languages are used in the European Union? There are 24 official languages in use in the European Union. And for question 13, we asked how many stars are on the European Union flag. There are 12 stars on the European Union flag. Question 14, the UN has 17 Sustainable Development Goals. This symbol represents gender equality. And question 15, fado is a traditional style of music from Portugal. Okay, so it is time to move on to our final round. Our final round, round 4, is all about general knowledge. Again, you're going to have 15 questions to answer, and you need to write down the answers on your answer sheet. And if it's a multiple choice answer, just write A, B, or C. Okay, are we ready to begin with round 4? Let's get straight into round 4, our final round. Question number 1. Which country won Eurovision in 2021? Which country won the Eurovision Song Contest in 2021? Okay, question 2. What are the 3 official languages of Luxembourg? A. French, German and Luxembourgish. B. French, German and Dutch. Or C. French, German and English. What are the 3 official languages of Luxembourg? A. French, German and Luxembourgish. B. French, German and Dutch. Or C. French, German and English. Question 3. Which European city is nicknamed the Eternal City? Which European city is nicknamed the Eternal City? Question 4. Which country won the UEFA European Championship 2020? Which country won the UEFA European Championship 2020? Okay, let's move on to question 5. What is the name of the nuclear power plant in Ukraine that exploded in 1986? What is the name of the nuclear power plant in Ukraine that exploded in 1986? And question 6. Oscar Wilde, Samuel Beckett, and Bram Stoker are well-known authors from which country? Oscar Wilde, Samuel Beckett, and Bram Stoker are well-known authors from which country? Let's move on to question 7. In which country is the town with the longest name in Europe located? And I've got to say this. Llan Ffair Pwll Gwyn Gwyll Gogri Chwryn Drob Llansilio Gogogoch. Commonly shortened to Llan Ffair PG. So in which country is the town with the longest name in Europe located? Llan Ffair Pwll Gwyn Gwyll Gogri Chwryn Drob Llansilio Gogogoch. Commonly shortened to Llan Ffair PG. Okay, question 8. Who is the Belgian-Dutch Formula 1 World Champion pictured here? Who is the Belgian-Dutch Formula 1 World Champion pictured here? Let's move on to question 9. In which country was the fashion brand Prada founded? In which country was the fashion brand Prada founded? Question 10. In which country is the longest road tunnel in the world, the Lærdal Tunnel, situated? In which country is the longest road tunnel in the world, the Lærdal Tunnel, situated? Question 11. Who was named BBC Sports Personality of the Year 2021 after her US Open victory earlier in the year? Who was named BBC Sports Personality of the Year 2021 after her US Open victory earlier in the year? Okay, question 12. Which currency is used in Czechia? Which currency is used in Czechia? Moving on to question 13. Which country has more bicycles, 22 million, than people, 17 million? Which country has more bicycles, 22 million, than people, 17 million? Question 14. The Moomin children's stories and the Angry Birds video game were both created in which country? The Moomin children's stories and the Angry Birds video game were both created in which country? And the very last question in our quiz, number 15, Portuguese, Romanian and French are all part of which language family? A. Slavic, B. Romance, or C. Germanic? Portuguese, Romanian and French are all part of which language family? A. Slavic, B. Romance, or C. Germanic? Okay, and that is the end of round 4. And once again, I would like to invite the teachers for the final time to collect in all the question papers. And we're going to be taking you through the answers now for this 4th and final round. Let's take a look at our answers all together. Question 1 then. Which country won the Eurovision Song Contest in 2021? It was Italy. Question 2. What are the 3 official languages of Luxembourg? The 3 official languages are French, German and Luxembourgish. Question 3. Which European city is nicknamed the Eternal City? And if you recognise this city in the image there, it is Rome. That's actually the Vatican City, which is within Rome. Okay, moving on to question 4. Which country won the UEFA European Championship 2020? It was Italy. Question 5. What is the name of the nuclear power plant in Ukraine that exploded in 1986? That was Chernobyl. Question 6. Oscar Wilde, Samuel Beckett and Bram Stoker are well-known authors from Ireland. Question 7. So we wanted to know for question 7 in which country you would find Llanfail Pwllgyn Cwllgogri Chwndrob Llanslio Gogogoch, and that is in Wales. Question 8. Who is the Belgian-Dutch Formula 1 world champion pictured here? That is Max Verstappen. Question 9. In which country was the fashion brand Prada founded? It was founded in Italy. Question 10. The longest road tunnel in the world, the Lardal Tunnel, is in Norway. Question 11. And the BBC Sports Personality of the Year 2021 was Emma Raducanu. Question 12. The currency that's used in Czechia is the Czech koruna. Question 13. Which country has more bicycles than people? It is the Netherlands or Holland. Question 14. The Moomin children's stories and the Angry Birds video games were both created in Finland. And our final question. Portuguese, Romanian and French are all part of the Romance family of languages. So there we have it, the final answers for our final round. And we hope that you have enjoyed taking part in this Euroquiz. Now, I think the most important thing to take away from this is all of that information that you learned, everything that you've been working on, about capitals, about languages, about rivers, about famous people. All of this knowledge that you've acquired for this Euroquiz will always come in useful at some point, and you never know when it will come in useful. You may be doing a test later in life, or you might be taking part in a quiz, and you will know the answers because you've worked hard in preparation for this Euroquiz. I've really enjoyed taking part in this quiz. I hope that you have enjoyed it too. And it just remains for me to pass over to Jane once more to say a few final words.
Congratulations to you all for taking part in those 4 rounds of Euroquiz 2022. Before we finish today, I'd like to say a huge thank you to our digital quizmaster Mark Pentleton from Radiolingua and Coffee Break Languages for taking us through all of the questions and answers today. Thank you, Mark. We're also extremely grateful for the continued support towards Euroquiz from the Scottish Government and the Ganachie Trust. And finally, most importantly, well done to all of you for taking part in Euroquiz 2022. The key message we'd like you to take away from today is just how much it benefits all of us as global citizens to learn about and to engage with other cultures. It really is one of the greatest joys in life. So whether you really like speaking languages, exploring geography, working as a team, learning about the traditions and customs of different countries, we really do encourage you to continue this learning about our neighbours across Europe and the wider world. We really look forward to receiving your local authority HEAT results and to announcing the 2022 Euroquiz finalists. Well done to you all.
Ciao!
Tschüss, viel Spaß.
Ciao a tutti, a presto.
Adiós, gracias.
Merci beaucoup. À bientôt.
And thank you very much. Goodbye.